do not let the word cloud fool you. The internet is not floating in space, and it's not protected. Right now, almost the entire modern world depends on a few fragile cables hidden deep beneath the ocean. Your bank account, global trade, military systems, even artificial intelligence. And if enough of them were destroyed, entire countries could suddenly lose connection to the modern world. The terrifying part? Most people have absolutely no idea these cables even exist. When most people imagine the internet, they picture satellites in space. But the truth is very different. Over 95% of global internet traffic actually travels through submarine cables stretched across the bottom of the ocean. Tiny glass fibers crossing entire continents beneath the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans. This invisible network quietly powers almost everything humanity depends on. Streaming, banking, Google, YouTube, cloud computing, international business, AI systems. And despite carrying the modern world, many of these cables are only about as thick as a garden hose, which creates a dangerous problem. Most people never think about what actually happens after pressing send. But in milliseconds, your data travels through underwater cable systems connecting countries across the planet. Some of these cables stretch for tens of thousands of kilometers. The 2 Africa cable alone is longer than Earth's circumference. And every second, massive amounts of global data move through these hidden lines at nearly the speed of light. The modern world looks wireless, but in reality, it depends on physical infrastructure hidden in complete darkness beneath the sea. And if that infrastructure fails, the consequences become very real, very quickly. Because these cables are surprisingly fragile. Anchors, fishing equipment, earthquakes, underwater landslides, all of them can damage critical internet routes. And it's happened before. Entire regions have experienced major internet slowdowns and outages after submarine cables were cut or damaged. But governments are now becoming increasingly worried about something far more dangerous: sabotage. Because these cables are no longer just internet infrastructure. They've become strategic assets. In a major geopolitical conflict, disrupting underwater cables could affect communications, banking systems, financial markets, military coordination, and global trade almost instantly. One hidden system, quietly holding modern civilization together. And now, some companies are trying to change all of this completely. Companies like SpaceX are building massive satellite internet networks in orbit through systems like Starlink. Instead of relying entirely on underwater cables, thousands of satellites can beam internet directly from space. And newer companies like AST SpaceMobile are trying to push this even further, with satellites designed to connect directly to normal smartphones without special equipment. It sounds revolutionary, and in some situations, it absolutely is. Satellite networks can provide internet in remote regions, disaster zones, war zones, and places where traditional infrastructure doesn't exist. But here's the important part. At least for now, satellites are not replacing submarine cables. Because the modern internet moves an almost unimaginable amount of data every second. And underwater fiber optic cables still handle far more capacity, lower latency, and more stable global traffic than satellite systems currently can. Which means the future internet may not fully move to space, but instead become a hybrid system between satellites above Earth and cables hidden beneath the ocean.